Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make these gloves here. They're actually really easy to make. I put a button. You're going to need buttons if you want to. That's optional. I haven't sewed this one on yet, but they're really easy to make. They'd be great for a beginner, and they're both made the exact same. There's no seam, so it's worked in a continual round of single crochets. So it's really pretty easy, other than the thumb has to be sewed on separate, or has to be done separate, but it's still a continual round of single crochets. And as you can see, there's no defining line between the cuff and the main part of the mitten, so it's just all the way around single crochet. So both of them are made the same. They look the exact same on both sides since we worked in the round. I also want to take a minute to ask you to please, if you could, maybe subscribe to my channel and give this video a like or a share. By subscribing, you will never miss an update. Every time I put a tutorial on, you should get a message. What I used for this was Lion Brand Homespun. Now, if you've ever used homespun, it's not the easiest yarn to work with. I'm not going to lie, but it is really pretty and it's really soft. It's almost 100% acrylic, and it's a bulky number 5. Now, if you just absolutely hate this and you can't stand this yarn, you can use another bulky number 5. I would not recommend a 4-ply for this because it's going to make your mitten too small. But another bulky will work fine. The color I used is golden. This was actually donated to me. Greatly appreciated. I had no idea that they made homespun in solid colors. I'd never seen solid colors before. I only seen variegated at my store. It's really pretty, and there's 185 yards in the skein, and this is what I have left after making both mittens. So it'll be enough to make one pair of mittens, probably not 2, but it'll be enough for one, and you can probably make a headband or something out of the rest to match, but that's up to you. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. So we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, it's real easy. My kids are messing with my yarn and they messed up my center pull piece here. Okay. We're just going to start off with a slip knot on our hook. And then we're going to work a chain of 20. Like that. And now we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch, so you want to follow it along without twisting your chain if you can. I know this yarn's really hard to see. And slip stitch into your very first stitch, and that's going to form one large ring. So we're starting on the cuff and we'll work our way up. So now we're going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 that we did does not count as a stitch or anything, so we're going to go right back into that same spot that we slip stitched into, and we're going to do a single crochet. And now I'm going to work along my chain, and I know, like I said, it's hard to see, but do your best. And we're going to work along the chain, and we're going to put one single crochet in every single stitch. And when you get back around to the beginning, at the end of round 1 here, you'll have 20 single crochets. Just like that, all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Okay, once you make it around and you have your 20 single crochets, what you want to do is get a stitch marker, and I'm just going to use this piece of yarn here, and you want to put it right here at the end of your row. That way you can tell where you begin and where you end. So now what you want to do is go ahead and jump over to the first single crochet, not that chain 1, but the first single crochet, and single crochet into it. Now we're starting round 2. and we're just going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch again. And you still should have 20 stitches when you make it back around. So I'm going to continue around until I get back to my stitch marker. Okay, I've made it back to my stitch marker and I still have my 20 single crochets. So all I'm going to do is pull my stitch marker up and put it right here, and I'm going to go around again, and this will be round 3. So I'm going to continue doing rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get a total of 6 rounds done. You should have 20 single crochets every time you come back to your stitch marker, and then just move it up and start another round. So I'm working on round 3 now, and then I'm going to continue going around until I have 6 rounds, and then I'll meet back up with you, and then that will be the cuff, and then we'll start the main part of the glove. So you need a total of 6 rounds of single crochet, and we're on round 3 now. Okay, I did my 6 rounds of single crochet. So now we're going to work on round 7, and we're going to do an increase this round. So I'm going ahead and moving my stitch marker up to start round 7. And remember, you should have 20 stitches at the end of round 6 there. So what I'm going to do is put 1 single crochet in the first 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now in the next one, I'm going to put 2 single crochets, and that's going to be our increase stitch. So 2 single crochets into the next stitch, like that. And I'm going to repeat that again. 1 single crochet in the first, or in the next 4 stitches. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 single crochets into the next. 1, 2, and I'm going to repeat that all the way around. 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 single crochets into the next. 1, 2, and now you should have enough to do it one more time. 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and your last stitch would be 2 single crochets there into that last stitch before the stitch marker. Now we're going to have a total of 24 stitches. That's what we're going to be working with now. So I increased it just a bit up around the wrist so it can go up around your hand. So that was the end of round 7, and you'll have 24 stitches now. So now what we're going to do for rounds 8 through 13 is 1 single crochet in every stitch. So just like we did for the cuff, we're working on round 8 right now. No more increases right now. 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get back to your stitch marker, and then you pull it up and go around again. Now you'll have 24 stitches at the end of every round. So you want to continue working the 1 single crochet in every stitch. This is round 8 until you finished round 13. So I'm going to keep going until I reach round 13. 1 single crochet in every stitch, 24 stitches at the end of each row, and then I'll meet you at the end of round 13. Okay, I've made it to my round 13. I just completed round 13, and I have 24 single crochets. That's what you should have. Now we're going to make the thumb hole, and like I said, both gloves are made the same, so the thumb hole's made on the same on both gloves. So just go ahead and pull your stitch marker up, and this is going to be round 14, and it's the thumb hole row. What we're going to do is put 1 single crochet in the first 5 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna skip 6 stitches. So with this yarn, you gotta really look to make sure you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna single crochet in the 7th one, just like that. And that is our thumb hole. And now I'm going to put 1 single crochet in the remaining stitches until I make it back to my stitch marker. And you should have 18 stitches when you make it back around, plus that chain 6. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 14, and like I said, you'll have 18 stitches, and then you'll have this chain 6 here. So what we're going to do for round 15 is pull our stitch marker up, and now I'm going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch, including every stitch of the chain 6. So I'm going to go ahead and work 1 single crochet up until into the first 5 stitches until I get to my chain space here. Okay, now when you get to this chain 6, you want to work 1 single crochet in every stitch of the chain, and it's kind of hard to tell. Just kind of make sure you're evenly spacing out 6 single crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, this yarn. 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch, starting with this very first one here, this single crochet here. You want to make sure you go into the top of it, just like that. And now I'll continue around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get back to my stitch marker. And now you'll have your 24 single crochets back again once you make it to the end here of round 15. Okay, I made it to my stitch marker. I'm going to stop for a second, and now you can see that your thumb hole is made. So you can slip it on. Oh, I'm on my camera like that. So that's what it's kind of starting to look like. So I'll go ahead and pull that off. If you were using another bulky number 5 yarn, it would probably be easier to see the stitches. But I like the homespun, even though it's hard to tell the stitches. Okay, what you want to do now is pull your stitch marker up. And now I'm just going to be working my rounds of single crochet again. We're on round 16 now. So I'm just going to continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch until I make it back around. And when I make it back around, I still should always have 24 stitches at the end of every round. And I want to continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch until I reach a total of 25 rounds. So we're just working rounds again like we did before down here. 1 single every stitch for a total of 25. And we're on 16 now. So I'm going to keep going. Remember, 24 single crochets at the end of every round until I reach round 25, and then I'll meet back up with you. Okay, once you finish round 25, now what we're going to do is do some decreasing, so that'll make the top close up. So we're going to, for round 26, we're going to move our stitch marker up, and now we're going to do some decreasing. So we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to do a single crochet decrease, and the single crochet decrease is worked over 2 stitches. So what we're going to do is go into the next stitch and draw up a loop, and then we're going to go into the next one and draw up a loop, and then we're going to have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and go through all 3. So that took those 2 stitches and made it into 1. And now we're going to repeat that. So we're going to go 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to go into the next stitch and draw up a loop. And the next stitch after that, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through all 3 loops on your hook, just like that. And we're going to repeat it again. 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then decrease over the next 2. So we go into the next one, draw up a loop, into the next one, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through all 3 loops. Now you should be able to do that one more time. So 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we have 2 stitches left, and we're going to decrease over those 2 stitches. So we're going to go into the next one, draw up a loop, and then go into that last one, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. So at the end of round 26 now, you should have a total of 20 single crochets. So for round 27, we're going to pull our stitch marker up, and we're going to go around and we're going to decrease again. This time we're going to put 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches. So here's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to decrease over the next 2 again. So go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, and then the next one, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. Again, 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're going to single crochet decrease over the next 2. So go into the next one, draw up a loop, the next one, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through all 3. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. 1 single crochet into the next 3. There's 1, 2, and 3. Single crochet decrease over the next 2. Just like that. 1 single crochet decrease, or I'm sorry, 1 single crochet in the next 3. It's 1, 2, 3, and you should have 2 stitches left when you get to the end. Go ahead and single crochet decrease over those last 2 stitches, like that. Now at the end of round 27, you should have 16 total stitches. So we're going to start round 28 by pulling up our stitch marker and moving it up. Now what we're going to do is just go around one time and put 1 single crochet in every stitch. This is for round 28. So I'm just going to work 1 single crochet. We're not going to decrease this round, in every stitch all the way around. And you should have 16 stitches when you make it back around. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 28 and I still have my 16 stitches. Now I'm going to do some more decreases. So for round 29, I'm going to go ahead and pull my stitch marker up. And I'm going to put 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2. And now I'm going to decrease over the next 2. Just like that. And that's what I'm going to repeat all the way around. 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2, and decrease over the next 2. 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, decrease over the next 2, 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and you should have 2 stitches that remain, and you want to go ahead and decrease over those last 2. And now at the end of round 29 you should have 12 stitches. Okay, for round 30 I'm going to pull my stitch marker up, put it right here, and now what I'm going to do is 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then single crochet decrease over the next, and that's the repeat. Now 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and single crochet decrease in the next, like that, over the next 2. And we're going to repeat this until we get back around here at the beginning. 1 single crochet, and then you decrease over your next 2, 1 single crochet, and decrease over the next 2. And I know it gets kind of tight, but now you should have 8 stitches there. So one more time, around 31, I'm going to pull up my stitch marker. This is the last round. We're just going to do single crochet decreases all the way around. So I'm going to go in to the first stitch and drop a loop, and then in the next stitch and drop a loop, yarn over and go through like that. And I'm going to do that all the way around, and it's real tight, but go into the next stitch, drop a loop, the next one, drop a loop, go through all. I'm losing my stitch marker here. There it is. Again, the next one, drop a loop, the next one, drop a loop, go through all, and you should have 2 here that remain. And go ahead if you can. I know it's tight, but go into the next one, drop a loop, and then the last one. You can go ahead and pull that stitch marker out because you're not going to need it anymore, and it's just probably getting in your way. Go into that last stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all the loops. So now we made it back, and you should have 4 stitches. Just cut a long tail, so we can. Then we're just gonna sew that end to sew the end together. So just pull that through like that. Like that. And now you take your yarn needle and just kind of put your piece flat. You got 4 stitches up there that remain. And just take your yarn needle and just kind of sew the top together. And as you're doing that, you're just kind of hiding this tail too. So it, you know, with this yarn, it's really forgiving. As for if your stitches aren't perfect and stuff like that. So that's one good thing about this yarn. Even though it is a little bit hard to work with sometimes, it's just, oh, I always thought it looked nice. I have made a few projects out of it. It just is, it's hard to see, so I don't use it all the time. Okay, once you get that all done, you can clip that off. Now the hardest part would be that, so now you got the top of it done. The hardest part that we're going to be doing is the thumb, and it's not really hard, it's just that first round. But there is that part. Oh, my tail came undone a bit. I'll clip that off some more. But we'll go ahead and start on the thumb. Okay, what you want to do is get your yarn. Now, it's the only part that's hard about this is seeing the stitches. So my suggestion is just to evenly space out your stitches, because they are extremely hard to see. You need a total of 16 stitches all the way around this thumb hole. So you can start anywhere. I'm just going to start right here. And it's extremely hard to see where they need to go. So I basically just space them out the best I can and get 16 stitches. So I started here and I chained 1. Now I'm going to go back into that same stitch and single crochet. And now I'm going to work and I'm going to try to evenly space out 16 stitches. Sometimes you can see where they go and sometimes you can't. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, trying to hide that tail in there. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's really hard. Sometimes you gotta redo it. I'm just gonna go right here. 16. So if you don't get it right the first time, you can take it out again and just try to evenly space your 16 stitches out. I had to do this thumb hole like the first row like 10 times to get it because they're so hard to see. But once you get that, go ahead and put a stitch marker there. And go ahead and single crochet into your first single crochet. Not that chain one with the first single crochet. So this is round 2 of the thumb hole. And we're just going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So you'll have 16 when you get back around. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, once you make it back around at the end of round 2 of your thumb hole and you still have your 16 stitches, go ahead and pull your stitch marker up. Round 3 we're going to decrease. So what we're going to do is 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2. Now we're going to single crochet decrease over the next 2. Like that. So, and that's a repeat now. So 1 single crochet into the next 2. 1, 2, single crochet decrease over the next 2. Again, 1 single crochet into the next 2. And 1 single crochet in the next 2, and you should have 2 stitches that remain. 1 single crochet decrease over those last 2, and now you should have a total of 12 single crochet at the end of round 3 of the glove. So we'll go ahead and pull our stitch marker up, and now we're going to just be working 1 single crochet in every stitch. All the way around until we get to back to our stitch marker. And we want to continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch for a total of 8 rounds. So this is round 3 that we're on right now. And when I get back to my stitch marker, I'll pull it up. I should have 12 stitches, and I'll start round 4, and we want to do that for a total of 8 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. 12 stitches at the end of every round. So I'll meet you when I get my 8 rounds done. Okay, I'm on round 8 now. I just finished round 8 of my thumb, and that's round 8 counting from the very first row up. Now we're going to do decreases. So we're going to, for round 9, pull our stitch marker out, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and you should have 12 stitches at the end of that row 8 there. So round 9 is 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then decrease over the next 2, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, decrease over the next 2, and we're going to repeat this all the way around. 1 single crochet into the next stitch, decrease over the next 2, and you should be able to do that one more time. 1 single crochet into the next stitch and decrease over the last 2. So for round 9 you should have 8 stitches now. One more round, round 10, go ahead and pull your stitch marker up, and we're going to decrease in every stitch around. So what we're going to do is it's going to get tight again like it did before. Go into the first stitch, drop a loop, into the next stitch, drop a loop, yarn over and go through all 3, and again, first stitch or next stitch, drop a loop, and then the next one, drop a loop, all 3, next stitch, drop a loop, next stitch, drop a loop, all 3, and you should be able to do it one more time here. Next stitch, drop a loop, next stitch, drop a loop, all 3. You can go ahead and move that stitch marker. Don't need it anymore. Draw up a long tail there so we can sew the end together like we did on the top. So you'll have 4 stitches there that remain, and you probably can't even really see them, but just go ahead and sew up the hole here that you have left with your tail, and you're hiding your tail at the same time. So the thumb was probably, I found the thumb to be the hardest part, was getting that first 16 stitches because I just couldn't see them. Hopefully you had an easier time than I did. So just make sure you get it sewed in there pretty good, and that hole sewed up. And then you can flip that. Now let me try this on. See how she fits me. Pretty good. Kind of stretch that top out a bit and thumb out a bit. Now one last thing I'm going to do is go around the bottom with a row of single crochet just to clean up that edge. Now you can start anywhere that you want, so it doesn't matter. So just go in to one of them stitches and chain 1. Now go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now just go ahead and work 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Now you can see right here is wherever we started, there's kind of a dip. That's because we started working it around, and that's fine. Just go ahead and keep putting 1 single crochet in every stitch around, and it'll even that dip up. I'm going to try to hide those tails as I go so I don't have to sew them in. Now when you make it back around, you should have 20 stitches because that's what we started with. If you don't, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. You know, if you got 19 or 21, it's not going to hurt nothing. No one's going to be able to tell. So don't take it all out and redo it. It's not going to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. So I'm just going to continue around here. I'm struggling with them tails there, and I'm struggling trying to find a stitch to put these in, but working 1 single crochet in every stitch here along the bottom, and that's going to make the bottom look nice and clean. I'm going to clip them tails off because they're kind of annoying to me. There we go. I think I sewed them in enough. Now whenever you make it back to the beginning, I'm coming around here. You just want to end with a slip stitch into your first single crochet. Not the chain one that we did, but the first single crochet. Pull that out, tie it off. Now you can hide this and any remaining tails that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, I got my tails all sewed up. One more thing I did, you don't have to do it, it's completely up to you, is I sewed a little button on mine. So this is my left glove, this is my right glove. So I just kind of sew the button a little bit over to the side. And I'll do that off camera. But that's it, that's all there is to it. It's pretty easy. I think they turned out pretty nice, actually. I like the homespun. They're nice and warm. They fit nice. And it does have a little bit of give on, it'll stretch out a bit too, you know. If it feels tight on you, don't worry about it. It stretches out, but I think it feels pretty good. I'm going to wear these. I like it. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, where you can post all your crochet items there. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram. I'll put links to all that stuff below in the description box. And until next time, have a good day.